Hello and welcome to an album a day, day number 125, going through my vinyl collection, an album or two at a time. Today we've got one that I absolutely love, a little more bluesy and folk, I guess you'd say. We're talking about the 2001, but the 2021 reissue of Roger Glover's Snapshot Plus. I think the plus actually comes from the reissue because there's some bonus material on here that we get, but they did it as a double album. Really like this brown cover too. I'll show you the first vinyl. Love that. It's such an interesting color. It's one that you really don't see a whole lot, but nice picture. I believe that is Roger when he was a kid with his pants falling down for some reason. God only knows what was going on there. But as usual, this is an ear music release, so it gets a really good treatment. And I have a story about this album I'll tell you here after we look at everything here. So there's the second album, 180 gram, of course. This is Roger, it's officially titled as Roger Glover and the Guilty Party, featuring Randall Bramlett on vocals, and it's really good stuff. I'm not even going to go into the song list because it's one that you should just check out. I'll just say that and leave it at that because it's got it's really an incredible collection of songs. There's some versions, demo versions of Roger singing some of the songs, which is really cool. Because it's ear music, of course, we're treated to a killer package, nice thick opening, or what do you call it? Spine. That's spine. That's it. So on the back, got the song list and, on the back we got the song list and all that good stuff. And on the inside, I'll show you that. And I believe we're treated to sleeves because ear music usually does sleeves. Oh yeah. So we've got lyrics on both sides. I love this like water drop. It's like parchment with ink drops on it. I don't know what you'd call it or what was behind that strategy, but I really like the way it looks. And then the second one, of course, we have here information on the bonus material as well. Really nicely done. Nice thick sleeves, really good paper stock. Get in there. There we go. So I'm really hoping that at some point Ear Music will go back and maybe get the rights to release his other solo albums like Mask or Elements. The one album that I'm aware of that he did that did not ever get a vinyl release was If Life Was Easy. So that would be nice to maybe get a vinyl release of that one. But it all comes down to who has the rights or whether Ear Music can obtain the rights to release it, get approval from the rights holders, or just buy them out if it's financially likely to be worth it, who has the time to work on this other than prioritizing other projects. I mean, there's so much that goes into, whether something gets a re-release or not. But I do hope for that because the only one I haven't heard is If Life Was Easy, but the other albums are really, really good. We'll get to those at some point in this series. So I first heard this album when the re-release came out. I first heard it while I was traveling from Arizona to Las Vegas. And I knew I was going to do a review of it on the Haskincast podcast, and that episode is out there. And I really wanted to just find some time where I didn't have to worry about doing anything else. I could just focus on the music. And since I had that upcoming trip, I'm like, this is perfect, right? So I'll listen to it on the way home. And I just found this magic time. This was right before Halloween. And just found this magic time where the sun was just setting just right. And of course, the shadows start to get longer and longer in the fall. And just found that right time of day. I'm like, oh, I need to listen to this before I get home. And hadn't quite hit, I was still a ways away from hitting Hoover Dam yet, probably about an hour. And I thought, oh, I need to put this on. So I pull it up on the iPod and start listening to it. I'm like, this music is just perfect for this setting. That everything's starting to turn that shade of gold that the afternoon autumn sun casts, and I'm heading west, and everything. It was just perfect atmosphere. It was starting to get a little chilly, not enough for me to want to roll my window up, but starting to get to that point. It was just like the perfect feeling for this music. And when we met up with Roger in Detroit, I got to tell him about this, and I said, well, first of all, Ear Music does such an amazing job with the packaging on these albums. He couldn't remember off the top of his head what the packaging was like, and so I just kind of told him a little bit about it. And I said, but I've got to tell you, the experience I had could not have been better. And I explained to him what I just had explained to you, and he asked me, he goes, where was that drive again? And I told him from Phoenix to Las Vegas right before Halloween, and he goes, I'd really like to take that ride. So hopefully at some point he'll get to do that, because it's really an experience. We could talk about how great the music is, and it is. You should absolutely check out this album. But a lot of times the atmosphere that we're surrounded with when we first experience new music becomes a part of that experience. If it's, I think about music that I might have heard in Vegas, like walking to the post office, and I'm just going through YouTube listening, and it's a really hot day. So that music becomes associated with early morning feeling. It's going to be a very hot day. I can already feel the sun, starting to choose who it's going to burn. Because it really does feel like a personal experience with that song. So, I mean, the experience that we have with music then becomes somewhat tied to those memories, and especially like the first time we hear it, where we're at, what our state of mind is, whether we're open into listening to new music or not. So one thing that I suggest to people is, if you're going to experience new music, specifically carve some time out for that. If you can't, try not to be distracted by anything. Really give the music a chance, because if you're listening for the first time while you're paying your bills, or making your to-do list, or doing this or that, there's so much that you're going to miss because you're focused on other things, and the music becomes a secondary to what is the most important task at the time. So really experience new music, give it a chance, check out this album, Snapshot Plus, Roger Glover, excellent stuff. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.